Howdy, it's week 3 of my internship at Bobtown, and this is what I did this week. On Tuesday I had a vacation day, but on Monday I worked on editing a bunch of videos and learning about video editing and watching more videos about video editing. And then I also made this plan for the upcoming next 5 weeks. So first on my list is to continue really learning glazes and learning the chemistry of it and being able to confidently know what I'm talking about when it comes to glazes. Also, I want to start my business and brand, which is something that these videos are kind of doing. And it's just to go ahead and have a head start before I graduate and get out of school. I also want to really learn video editing, which is what I focused on Monday. I think it's an exclusive skill that will set me apart when it comes to networking and that kind of thing. And then also experimentation, because that's not something I'm going to have the space to do after leaving Bobtown, so I want to take advantage of my opportunities at Bobtown to do that. And these are all things that I've been doing in smaller forms, but I really want to focus it more. I feel like it was more broad before, but now it's focused. So I finally came in on Wednesday, and the first thing that I did was we loaded up a bisque kiln with the plates and bowls I had been making. And I finally got a new shelf. Jose moved out and I moved in, so I guess it's the cap corner. And now the reveal of my teapot and teacups. I really hate the way that the teapot turned out. I think the glaze kind of ruined it. I just don't think I like a Oribe. I think every time I've tried to use a Oribe, I just get pissed off and I hate it. So yeah, I'm happy with the cups. I think the cups turned out fine. I wish I would have added more glaze to the bottom, but I think overall they're a success, especially when they're stacked. You can see the color difference there on that top part, and I think it's really nice, but the teapot is a flop. So here's some more pictures of the way that the teacups turned out, and there they are stacked. So see, like, those are nice, but that teapot is just kind of ugh. Then I started making Behr flashing slip. It's mostly a clay body, so it was terrible to try and mix up. It did not want to do it, so I ended up leaving it for the next day to soak in a bunch of water. And when I came back to it, it was way easier to mix. Then we didn't have much success with tea dust in the last gas kiln firing from last week, so Clarence got me started on looking through the John Britt book and the High Fire and testing all of the tea dust recipes in there. So I made a few batches. A couple of them called for Alberta slip, which I couldn't find. I didn't think we had it. And then there's the test tiles drying out in the sun. And there I am mixing them. And I got this really cool shot of a ladybug in the magnesium carbonate, which was really cool. I had lunch. It was only green beans, but they were good. Anyway, me and Clarence got started on making a video for Bobtown, and I was downloading the drive, the folders from his drive to my drive so I could work on it at home. And then it was really hot that day, so Vicky was watching out for me, love her, and she got me some cashews and an Ale to give me some sodium and to keep me hydrated. So in between downloading files and eating cashews, I threw a bunch of forms. I made more of those stacking cups, and then I made some travel cups that I really focused in on May term. I made them bigger. I think they look a lot cleaner. I waited until they were a little bit drier, and then I attached the top part of the lid and waited till it was leather hard to cut out the shape, and it looks a lot more professional. And then there's some pictures of the new cups. I just added a random little star design, and there's the other travel cup I made. I'm really proud of this one. I didn't think I would like it. It is definitely an elongated people mug from Berea. I mean, it doesn't look anything like it, but I definitely see where I got the inspiration for that form from. So then it was Thursday. Thursday was the same thing where I was kind of on my own, sort of working on the studio. Definitely felt more confident managing a studio that day. Came in, there was the Behr slip. As you can see, it was really starting to mix together. And yeah, it worked out great. I wouldn't have been able to do that on Wednesday. So then the bisque kiln was at about 250 degrees from yesterday, so I opened it up to have it cool off some before I touched it. And I got started on decorating the plates that I left out. For these, I was really inspired by the Greek story of Hades and Persephone, and I was more so thinking of Demeter and Persephone. In the story, Demeter is Persephone's mother, and it's basically a story of how the seasons came and Persephone gets kidnapped by Hades, but then there's like some poem about her enjoying it down there and the pomegranates. The apples and that kind of thing is supposed to be more on the Demeter side, and then the pomegranates are more to be on the Persephone side. And I just thought it was interesting, so I wanted to do it. It was some slip that was up in the glaze studio called Onata Red Slip, so hopefully it turns out. I have no idea what it's going to look like. And this is when I was reading through the John Britt book and looking at red glazes, and it's more so foreshadowing for my senior show because I'm really interested in these copper reds. And then it poured like crazy, and so I took some video of it for these videos because it was really pretty and I really liked it. Anyway, by then my bit stuff had cooled down and I pulled it out. There it all is, the mortar and pestles. I have a little tester coaster and some plates. And then there's the tomato bowls. They look so freaking cool. I am so happy. That red iron oxide slip is the black one, and then it's chrome mixed with some slip for the green. And they're just beautiful. That black is just, it's gonna look so good with the sweet pea over the whole thing to make it super green. And then I found the Alberta slip. Turns out we had some after the next day. So I went ahead and went back to the tea dust recipes and I made the Alberta rust and the amber ones. And so now the whole thing is complete. You can obviously tell which is which because those two look especially different. So hopefully they'll turn out really cool. And then it was Friday. Me and Vicky went over to the craft fair first thing in the morning. We were the first ones there, and look at that cute little dog in line. He was so cute. He was mean though. He was barking at people. And there were all sorts of things at the craft fair. There were baskets, weaving, there were spoons, woodworking, metalworking, all sorts of stuff, brooms. I went through and took a whole bunch of pictures of everything, but overwhelmingly the main thing that was there was pottery, which was perfect because me and Vicky went there to go see prices. So for the pottery section of the craft fair, we're going to play a fun game of how many teal cups can you see? So one of the first things I noticed when going through the pottery collection at the craft fair was the amount of teal. Everything always had one teal shade. Blue clearly sells, but every single potter had a different color palette. Some were better than others, some were pretty tacky, and some were kind of nice, but generally it stayed in the same range, and there weren't a lot of neutrals, which I was surprised by. I thought there would be more, but I guess when people want pottery, they want it really brightly colored, or that was just who the craft fair had taken for this year. I did really enjoy this neutral ochre glaze though. I thought it was really interesting. It's probably store-bought, but I really enjoyed it. I also really like these tiny pots. That booth really had me in a chokehold. This is the tater knob one. The teal in that one isn't pictured because there were so many people and I didn't want to take pictures of them and be a little creeper. There were also a handful of these really large mugs, and I really liked them. I think I want to recreate them in my own stuff. And this is Bark Camp Pottery Station from the craft fair. I'm going to meet Brandon later this summer. Then we had some lunch and came back to the studio, and I designed these beetles on this travel cup. And then I glazed this little coaster and some plates. Eventually Pat came by and he came over with some mystery cone 10 glazes we didn't have testers for. So I was already looking for a liner glaze and I just went for it and threw it on my plate. So hopefully it'll work out. It's supposed to be yellow, but it's bright red. So that'll be interesting. And that's all for week 3. Thanks for watching.